Coming up on Hoosier Sports Night, Indiana football makes history out in Happy Valley. We'll bring you the highlights.
And men's soccer put up a huge performance in their season finale. This is Hoosier Sports Night.
Hello and welcome to Hoosier Sports Night. I'm Julian Zelensky.
And I'm Lauren Wainwright. Julian, how about that Penn State game? Where were you? How are you feeling about that?
Listen, a lot of people in our production crew and my friends maybe call me Unc. Listen, I'll tell you what, I haven't seen Michael Irvin or Jerry Rice make a catch like that. Omar Cooper, I'll tell you, insane. IU football went out to Happy Valley looking to keep their undefeated streak alive. Let's take it out to University Park. Listen, back-to-back road games for the Hoosiers against the upset-minded Nittany Lions. Fernando Mendoza looking to lead the Hoosiers to a 10-0 start. Let's start late first quarter. Mendoza drops back, doesn't see anything, makes a man miss and dives into the end zone. Touchdown Hoosiers. That would be the first impact play of the day for him as he puts the Hoosiers up 7. Early second quarter, Ethan Gruckemeyer, the freshman, to Nick Singleton. Singleton dragging Hoosier defenders to knot it up at 7. Later, after a defensive turnover, Kaylon Black, never fear, Kaylon is here. He would get into the end zone to put the Hoosiers up 10 before the break. Let's fast forward to the fourth quarter. Nick Singleton, mama, there goes that man. Nick Singleton bursting through the IU secondary. He would be down within the 5, and then 2 plays later, Ethan Gruckemeyer to Singleton again. Penn State starting to dig themselves out of the hole. Let's go next drive, 2nd and 8 for Fernando Mendoza. He drops back, slides right, tries to fit it on the sideline, but King Mack comes up with the interception. Shout out to Mrs. Mack for that first name. I'll be taking tips for my kid. Listen, after that, Ethan Gruckemeyer to Nick Singleton, makes a man miss, makes another cut at the 10, 5, touchdown. Are you kidding me? Having the game of his life, and it's going ballistic in State College. But Fernando Mendoza, calm, cool, collected, Heisman favorite. Drops back, 3rd and goal, all-out blitz, goes to Omar Cooper. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Let's get another angle. We got to get another angle with the back judge. Back judge had this on lock. The toe tap. Right toe floats up, left toe gets down. You'll never see a better catch like it. They would go to the booth to review it. They would confirm it. And instead of 9-1 and an upset in Happy Valley, the Hoosiers get a Heisman moment from Fernando Mendoza and a win in Happy Valley. Absolutely impressive. Next on the docket for the Hoosiers is Coach Signetti has a date with the Wisconsin Badgers here in Bloomington on Senior Day for the program.
On Tuesday, women's basketball hosted Marshall for their 3rd game of the season. It was close competition for the 2 teams. Our Grace Jeffer has you covered.
Indiana women's basketball continued its season at Simon Scott Assembly Hall on Tuesday. It was the closest game the Hoosiers have had so far, winning only 57-51 against Marshall. In Indiana's exhibition game as well as their season opener, the wide margin of victory was very noticeable. During Game 2 against Lipscomb, as well as against Marshall in Game 3, the competition crept in much more than the crowd anticipated. The whole night, the Hoosiers couldn't seem to pull away, battling a strong 2-3 zone and full court press by the thundering herd. Indiana struggled to get past the timeline and gave up 28 turnovers. Even so, they had a presence beneath the basket, grabbing 46 rebounds compared to Marshall's 30. Head coach Terry Morin recognized Marshall's solid zone defense and how that shaped the team's goals for the night.
This is a team that turns you over like they did us tonight, but also does a great job of crashing the glass, and we really challenged all of them to dominate the boards and really our guards. You know, we felt like our guards had to help us rebound the ball tonight.
Sophomore Zania Sokaguman was an asset to the team once again, putting up 13 points and 7 rebounds. She was sat early on as she was called on 2 fouls in the game's first 3 minutes. She had a strong presence on both ends of the court throughout the whole game. Senior Shea Chesky continues to ball out for the Hoosiers. Playing in every minute of the game, Chesky also scored 13 points and brought down a career-high 10 rebounds, both enough to also hand her her first career double-double.
I thought she was terrific tonight defensively for us, and then obviously, got in there and got us some rebounds as well. And so, but I will say this, my expectations for Shea is to do that. She's a senior, she's played a lot of minutes, she's played in big games.
The Hoosiers have already identified their areas of improvement and are locked in for their game against Florida State on Sunday. For IUSTV Sports, I'm Grace Jeffer.
Women's basketball will travel to Tallahassee, Florida, and are back in action on Sunday at 5 p.m. Watch as they compete in their first road game of the season.
Field hockey hosted and competed in their first Big Ten tournament since 2021 on Thursday. Indiana took on the Iowa Hawkeyes in the first round of the tournament. Iowa was able to get an early goal in the 6th minute from junior midfielder Dion Van Alsman. Sophomore goalkeeper Sadie Kennelly led things on the defensive end for the Hoosiers, keeping Iowa at 1 goal through the remaining 3 periods. Despite last-minute shots on goal from junior midfielder Inés Garcia Prado and freshman forward Celia Arroyo Cabazudo, Iowa would go on to win the game 1-0. This loss knocked the Hoosiers out of the Big Ten tournament and ended their 2025 season.
The Indiana men's hockey team went to Bowling Green, Ohio for a 2-game road trip against the Falcons last week. The Hoosiers started off the game red hot as usual, going up 2-0 by the end of the first period on 2 goals by forwards Matthew Schmidt and Ben Rosenberg. The second period was all IU as well, with freshman forward Ian Burke scoring a pair of goals to double the score to 4-0. The third period was where most of the action came, with 4 different Hoosiers contributing to the score and finishing the game with an 8-0 shutout of the Falcons. Fast forward to the second game where Indiana scored 3 goals in bunches, scoring 3 goals in the first period, including another goal by Ben Rosenberg, and then after giving up a goal to Bowling Green in the second period, the Hoosiers bounced back with 3 more goals in the third, which included a second goal by Jake Rock and a goal by Ian Burke, who led Indiana in scoring on the weekend with 3 goals and helped them extend their winning streak to 10 games with this 6-1 win. The Hoosiers will look to keep their winning streak alive at home this weekend with a pair of games against the Denison Big Red.
Coming up after the break, we crown this week's Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week.
And men's basketball earned an impressive non-conference win over Marquette. This is Hoosier Sports Night. Welcome back to Hoosier Sports Night.
Joining us in studio for this week's Hoosier Highlight is IUSTV sports reporter Chase Parker. Chase?
Thanks, Julian. Our Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week is Tucker DeVries, the men's basketball star named co-Big Ten Player of the Week, the first Hoosier since Trace Jackson Davis to earn that honor. In Indiana's first 2 wins, DeVries averaged 22.5 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists. Against Alabama A&M, he surpassed 2,000 career points, becoming the only active Division I player to do so. He stayed hot against Marquette, dropping 24 in the first half and leading a 100-point outburst, the Hoosiers' first time hitting triple digits against a high major team in a decade. Tucker DeVries followed his father, first-year head coach Darren DeVries from West Virginia, and is shooting a remarkable 58.8% from 3. He's already a 2-time Missouri Valley Player of the Year and former Iowa Mr. Basketball. The Hoosiers face Milwaukee and Incarnate Word next as DeVries looks to keep rolling. I'm Chase Parker, sending back to you guys at the desk.
The Indiana men's basketball team moved to 3-0 on the season after taking down Milwaukee at home in Assembly Hall. Our Josie Broyles has more.
Indiana men's basketball stayed undefeated at Assembly Hall, putting up triple digits for the second straight game in a 101-70 win over Milwaukee.
They just go out and play, and they take what the defense gives them. And I thought again tonight, 23 assists to 7 turnovers was really good. And I think that's why you get the shooting percentages you get, because we're getting the right type of shots.
Graduate guard Peyton Connerway led the squad with 21 points and 6 assists, attacking the rim every time the offense needed some fire.
My team just kind of had a lot of confidence in me and was like, on the film, a part that we feel like we could attack was like the one-on-one defense. and there ain't too many people that can stay in front of our guys. So definitely just kind of exploiting that, having my teammates kind of like believing in me, and then Coach DeVries at the end of the day just telling me, hey, man, they can't stay in front of you, so go get the job done. And that's what happened.
That support has become the foundation of this team, the reason why IU is looking more connected.
IU showed real growth. Reed Bailey commented on their ability to share the ball being contagious. And Coach DeVries said that these guys really look like they love to play the game of basketball. They showed a real winning mentality in the second half of the game.
When everybody else wants to share the ball and we're all moving it, you know, it makes you want to buy in and really do that. And you know, we've preached it throughout the summer. I think we've showed it in these first games here, and I think we can just keep getting better.
The Hoosiers will be back this Sunday to take on Incarnate Ward. For IUSTV Sports, this is Josie Broyles.
The Hoosiers are back in action this Sunday in Assembly Hall, taking on Incarnate Word at 5:30 p.m. Eastern.
At this point in the Big Ten volleyball season, every match is a battle. This was true for Indiana's matches against both Iowa and Wisconsin this past weekend. On Friday, the Iowa Hawkeyes came to Wilkinson Hall and gave their all, forcing the Hoosiers into their first 5-set match since their opening night. Ultimately, Indiana was victorious over Iowa, largely due to the efforts of senior Candela Alonso Corcelis and her 24 kills on the night. Freshman setter Teodora Krichkovich also had one of her best matches all season, racking up 53 assists. Unfortunately, Indiana's winning streak came to an end in Wisconsin as they fell to the Badgers in 3 sets. Despite the loss, freshman outside Jaden Jager continues to be one of the Hoosiers' most consistent players with 14 kills and 8 digs against the Badgers. After this weekend, Indiana volleyball is 19-4 and ranked number 4 in the Big Ten. The Hoosiers will be at home this Friday to take on Oregon.
Indiana men's soccer wrapped up regular season play last Friday night with a 5-0 victory over the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Our Ethan Bonner has the recap.
It was the final regular season game as Indiana hosted Rutgers. The Hoosiers, who were sitting 5th in the Big Ten standings, needed a win tonight and a UCLA loss or tie against the Washington Huskies if they wanted to make the Big Ten tournament. The Hoosiers came out fast with 2 goals in the opening minutes, both of which were by Clay Murador.
So tonight we focused on our grit and our work ethic, and it showed in the first few minutes, getting the goals early. And getting up early really helped us set the tone.
Indiana had no problem taking down the Scarlet Knights as they won 5-0 with second half goals from Palmer, Brecken Minzy, and Clay Murador, which gave them the hat trick. However, the one problem they did have was the result on the other side of the country. Washington struggled after going down a man due to a double yellow. From there, UCLA took advantage and scored 3 more, beating the Huskies 4-2, eliminating Indiana from the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it's all controllables at this point for us. And, you know, I told them, obviously, it's a bummer we don't get a chance at the second prize of the year, but the biggest one is the most important, always will be in our program.
Indiana takes down Rutgers 5-0 in a commanding win to end their regular season. However, in order to make the Big Ten postseason, they needed a win from Washington, who's ranked number 15 in the country. However, UCLA takes advantage with them down a player and beats Washington, eliminating Indiana's playoff contention. However, there is still a hope that Indiana does advance to the NCAA tournament, but only time will tell as we wait and see in December what the decision is from the committee. From Bill Armstrong Stadium, I'm Ethan Bonner, IUSTV Sports.
The Hoosiers will know their NCAA tournament route when the bracket is released on Monday, November 17th. Continue to follow our IUSTV men's soccer reporters for updates.
Joining us now in studio with the Candy Stripe Calendar Report is IUSTV sports reporter Aisling Zarati.
Thanks, guys. With the first snowfall in Bloomington, the Hoosiers are ready to bring the heat with another exciting weekend. Starting off is a jam-packed Friday. The women's volleyball team hosts the Oregon Ducks at 7 p.m. in Wilkinson Hall. Meanwhile, wrestling goes head-to-head with the Columbia Lions at home, and cross-country races into action at the Great Lakes Regional Championship. Then, on Saturday, the number 2 Hoosiers return at Memorial Stadium for their final home game of the season against Wisconsin. The team is ready to protect their perfect record here in Bloomington. Kickoff against the Badgers is at noon. Finally, rounding off the weekend, men and women's basketball both compete on Sunday. The women travel to Florida State for a 5 p.m. tip-off, while men's basketball hosts the Incarnate Word Cardinals in Assembly Hall at 5:30 p.m. Also on Sunday, the women's volleyball takes on the Maryland Terrapins at noon in Bloomington. And that's it for this week's Candy Stripe calendar. I'll hand it back to you guys at the desk.
And that's our show for the week. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at IUSTV Sports to keep up with all the latest in IU athletics. For our production crew behind us, I'm Lauren Wainwright.
And I'm Julian Zelensky. We'll see you next week.